Om Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Namaste Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Kauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashita Deshatarine Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the overall Goloka chart is something like this. Okay, there is something to Garbhodhaka ocean. So this is what we say, right? Krishna rests below the water, in the oceans. Okay, you see that we hear this again and again, right? Krishna is residing inside the ocean. Sorry, Narayana is inside. Vishnu is inside the ocean. How many of you have heard this? I just wanted people to reply on the chat so that I am also getting interested. It is interesting for me also. Okay. Yeah, so we have all heard this, right? So Krishna, Vishnu is resting under the ocean. So this is what we talk here. Garbhodhaka ocean. That's where Vishnu is residing. Okay, Vishnu and Lakshmi. Who's doing his Pada Seva is resting there. And from his navel are the various worlds which have got created. So Atala, Vittala, Suttala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. These are the worlds which are the lower worlds. Okay, these are the lower planets which are lower worlds which are existing. All these Atala, Vittala, Suttala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala are the lower worlds. They are called the world of demons. Okay, you can see. Patala is the abode of Nagas. Rasatala is the abode of Daityas. Mahatala is the abode of Nagas. Talatala is the abode of Demon, Maya Dharma. Sutala is Bali Maharaj. Lord Vamana resides there. Okay, now Bali Maharaj was killed, right? So Lord Vamana is now residing there. Vittala is the abode of demons. All the demons, those demons were killed by Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva resides there. Atala is the abode of demons, the son of Maya. Okay, Dhanva and Bala, so they reside there. Now, Bhur is the earth. Okay, that is where we are all living today. Okay, so it is the abode of human beings and other mortals. It's not immortals; it is immortals who go through the cycle of death, life. They go through the birth, life, old age, disease, death. Again, what happens? We get back to the same cycle: birth, life, old age, disease, death. So this is what is happening. So that is in Bhur, which is the earth. The next is the Bhuvar, which is the abode of ghostly spirits. Okay, that is where the spirits are living. And once you get yourself out of this, the mortal world, you slowly progress on the higher sides. You go to you are from the Bhur, you go to the Bhuvar, you go to the Swar, then you go to Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, and Satyaloka. Now, who lives in this Swarloka? Swarloka is where all the demigods are living. Who are the demigods? All the gods like Ganesha, Kartikeya, all the other gods that we see in the world. So like Chamundi, we look at say Vaishnava Devi. All the demigods are living in this Swarloka. What is Maharloka? Maharloka is the abode of the munis and the people who have crossed over the demigods. They are not gods now. Demigods are really gods. They can give you bone. They can give you the pleasure of Maya and things. But the next loka, Maharloka, is the place where the Rishi Munis all stays. Okay, then it's the world of Prajapatis. Then it's the world of the four Kumaras, and it's the Satyaloka is the world where Lord Brahma himself resides. Okay, Lord Brahma is the head. He is the CEO of Earth, of this world. Okay, I want to say Earth. He is the CEO of this world. All the Satyaloka, Tapoloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Swar, Bhur, Atala, Vittala, Suttala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. So we see that Lord Brahma is the controller of all these places. Okay, but all these worlds have again our expansion of Vishnu himself. Now you understand, right? Who is Brahma? Where is Brahma's position in the world? Where are demigods? Where are demigods' position? So demigods are within this world, within this part of the world, and they are looking at the Maya. Okay, they are controlling the Maya. Okay. Now what we do is we go to look at the next loka. So now when you look at the next loka is Mahatattva loka. Okay, that's right. This is above this world. We have whom do you have? We have Lord Vishnu. Okay, we had Rama Devi, we had Maya Devi, and we have Shambhu. So it is Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, Lord Lakshmi, Rama Devi, and Lord Lakshmi is nothing but the Vishnu and Lakshmi are together, and Shambhu and Maya are together. This Shiva and Parvati are together. So now this is where they are not in this world; they are above this world. That's when we say Shiva and Vishnu are equals. You get it? They are in the Mahatattva Loka. You see this? We say this Mahesha Dham. So where are we all in this? We are in this Devi Dhama. And where are Shiva and Vishnu? They are in the Maheshwarama, Mahatattva Loka. You understand this? Now from Mahakata Dhama to Mahakala Dhama, we are now moving towards the Sadashiva Loka. So that's the Brahma Jyotir. So now we are going to the next world. Now you see the next world, right? So this is Harir Dhama, or this is called the Vaikunta. We always say, right? Vaikunta Darshan. We'll have a special puja at Tirupati happening on this Vaikunta Ekadasi. There is all that happens because these are all in the Vaikunta Loka. This is the next world. The first world we saw was what was the first world we saw? We saw the Garbhodaka ocean, then we saw the different worlds around here in Devi Dhama. Then we saw Mahatattva Loka, or the Mahesha Dhama, where Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu reside. Okay. Then this is where, when I say Lord Mahesha here, this is Shiva residing, this is in Kailash. Okay. So this is where it is. Then we go to the Brahma Jyotir. Brahma Jyotir is where Harir Dhama is. Who's there in Harir Dhama? You can see in the middle, right? Who's this? This is Lord Vishnu and Shiva and Lakshmi themselves. Okay, they are in the middle, and they have all the other Leela happening around them. We have all the other gods around this: Vamana, Keshava, Kanti, Rati, all the Rama Avtarya. You can see Rama here. Okay, Shri Janardana, Aniruddha. These are different forms of the Lord himself. Rishikesha, Hari, Aniruddha, Padmanabha, Damodara, okay, Krishna, all these are here. They are all in these different forms, and we have all Devi and Devatas situated here. Okay, you have Garuda, you have Vishwasena, Indra, all these people are here. Okay, they are all different forms of God, different expansions of God who are sitting here. Some of them are also part of the demigod world. They are here as well as in the demigod world. So this is the next loka, which is called the Vaikunta. So that's when we say people should move from the existing world to the which world? We ask them to go. We want to go to the Vaikunta. Okay, people say, like, when they die in certain time, they have the Vaikunta darshan. They go to the Vaikunta planet. This is what we are looking for. Now, after this Vaikunta is done, okay, this is where after Vaikunta it is the Ayodhya which is there. Okay, and after Ayodhya we have somewhere Dwaraka also here, and then Dwaraka is here. Then we have Jagannath Puri. Then we have Mathura, and after Mathura we go to the place called Goloka. Okay. Now Goloka is where who is there? There is Krishna and Radharani themselves. They are residing here. They have all the other people surrounding them. So we have all the Krishna's avatars, Krishna's Leela, all that is happening in this place. This is where everybody is serving Krishna. You see that? You also see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. You have Yashoda Maya here. You have Radha Maya in the middle. Beautiful, no? You have on the edge of it, you can see all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's beautiful portraits which have been painted so beautifully. This is Goloka chapter. This is Aniruddha here, and this Moksha. After this, it is Moksha. This is a place where you serve the Lord. Everybody here, nobody is saying like, I am big, I am small, what I do, Krishna, I need to make Krishna happy. I made Krishna more happy than you are. There is no competition, nothing in this world. Everybody is doing whatever they can do to Krishna. Everybody is happy doing whatever they can do to Krishna. Is that not the real happiness? Imagine you are not worried about the results, you're not worried about what you're doing, you're not worried about anything else, and you're only serving the Lord. You're only serving, doing what you want, doing what you like to do. And you love that so much that you do it day in and day out, repeatedly, again and again. Imagine if we had a work like that. Okay. Do we have work like that every day, irrespective of whether it is a good day, bad day, it is your boss scolding, it is your teacher scolding, you have exams, you don't have exams, nothing. Imagine you love to do it every time. Okay, that's the beauty of this place now. That's the beauty of the Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, now you could understand where is the position of Lord Shiva, or why Krishna is superior, and where are the other gods, where are the demigods. You could get a clear picture. Everybody is wanting to go to the next level in the world. Demigods are also aspiring to get to the Goloka. But what happens is they have their roles. Okay, like Krishna says, do your karma. Your karma is to control Maya, or the people in the which loka? People in the Bhurloka, where they are struck by Maya. Okay. Any doubts? Otherwise, I'll move to the chapter 5. It was good, right? Thank you. No doubts. Okay. You people wanted the presentation that we did yesterday, the copy of the presentation that you wanted yesterday. What I would request, I don't want to put in the group as a common one. So I would request, if anybody wants it, please send me a message on WhatsApp and I'll send the presentation exclusively, especially only for you. I don't want to put that in the group because there are hundreds of people in the group, and we don't want to just give it for no, because it will make no sense for having it for everybody to have it, because they are not going to understand it. So if you want anything, please specifically send a message and I'll definitely reply back to you. Is Krishna incarnation of Vishnu, or Vishnu is incarnation of Krishna? That's a nice question. You saw Krishna is on the top. Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna. Okay, God himself said in Bhagavad Gita, I will come in my original form. Right? He did not say that. He said, I'll come in my original form. So when he says, I'm coming in my original form, it is Krishna himself who's going to come. It is not his version, his avatar as Vishnu, or his avatar as Rama, or anybody who's going to come. He said, I will come as myself, I'll come as Krishna. Right? Okay, I'll share my screen for the presentation. Okay, that's nice. So, chapter 5. Okay, what did we do yesterday? I just saw we'll probably do a quick recap of what we did yesterday. Yesterday we did the chapter 4. We saw about different. First we saw eternal education. We saw who can acquire the education. Whom did Krishna give the education to? He gave it to Arjuna. Why he gave it to Arjuna? Because he was a devotee, he was a friend, it was relevant in the situation, okay? And he was doing the right questions, he was asking the right questions, and then he can follow the instructions. He could follow Krishna. So that's why he gave it to Arjuna. From whom do we get this knowledge? We should get it from the bona fide parampara. We should get the disciple succession. Can we go get it from anybody? Can we get it from anybody in the world who says like, I have read Bhagavad Gita, I have understood Bhagavad Gita completely. Now I'll tell you what is Bhagavad Gita. So now you can even see in the market there are new books. Duryodhana's version of Mahabharata. Have you seen this book? That's utterly, see, that's a comic. That's like a comic, or that's probably a novel. That's not Bhagavad Gita, or that's not Mahabharata. Right? People have been looking at all the other sides also. That's not the right sense to look at it. Anything when you read it in the right way. Today we see, right, so much of data. How many of you see this on data on this COVID? Everybody has their own version to explain it. They say, now this COVID is going to spread all over and everybody is going to die. There's one more person saying, this COVID is spreading, but it is not going to affect everybody. Third person says vaccination is not working. Fourth person says vaccinations are working. Do you see this? Do you experience this? Like, come on, bus, now they're all keeping us confused. Why? Because they're not coming through this bona fide knowledge. They're not doing it the right way. Right? Everybody wants to put their version into it. So what is all about? So when does the Lord appear? So that we saw. Why does the Lord appear? That also we saw. What happens by gaining this knowledge? That also we saw. How does he appear? He appears only in his original form. Right? When does he appear? He appears every millennium. Why does he appear? He appears when there is irreligion. What happens by gaining this knowledge? You go to the transcendental. Once you get this transcendental knowledge, you go to the next levels of moksha. Now and then Krishna removes the misconception that Arjuna had, that he is killing his own relatives. He clearly says, you're not killing your relatives, you are killing the body. Okay? And that is so much of a religion that I want you to do this. And you are not doing it for yourself. There is no loss to you. You are doing it for me. You are doing it for the Lord. You are doing it as a service. Do your karma. Don't look at the results. Okay. The third point he mentions is removing reactions. He says, do your karma. Do your vikarma. That is, do your karma without expecting results. And third one is the highest. Do your karma. And one is you don't expect the results. The second one is you do it as a service to the Lord. Just give everything to the Lord. We made that deal, right? Positive or negative, we give it to God. So that's what he says. The fourth one is sacrifices. He says, what is the topmost sacrifice? Okay, we'll say the caliber and character of the person who does sacrifice. A teacher to train and sacrifice. And third one is topmost sacrifice. So what is the topmost sacrifice we can do in this material world in Kali Yuga? We said bhakti. We only do nama sankirtan. We said chanting. We said reading, and then sense control. Okay, is that a quick recap? Is a better recap to do? Thank you. Okay, in chapter 5, this is what we'll see. We'll see karma sannyasas, yoga. This is called karma sannyasa yoga. Okay, we'll understand what all to renounce. So Arjuna's confusion: renounce work or work with devotion. Now, this is again a problem that we have. Do we really renounce work, or we work with devotion? How do we do that? How do we renounce work and still work with devotion? We have this confusion. How do we stay attached but stay detached? Now we will see how do we do that. Now then is performing nishkama karma. So you see, like that frees from bondage. How can we do the work which is free from bondage? You also have this doubts, right? You keep telling us do this, do that. Like, how do we do that? Can you please tell me? So this is all that. That is also something that we will try to see. Liberation by focusing on the Supreme. So how do we liberate ourselves by focusing on the Lord? So that is also something that we will see. And then the peace formula. How do we stay peaceful? दुनिया में कुछ भी हो जाए, like whatever happens in the world, we'll stay aram. We'll not. Everything will go by. How do we go to that state? Okay, these are things that we will look at. Now Arjuna is already in this confused state. Now he is Krishna. I'm just setting the context because Krishna has given him the knowledge already, but still Arjuna says, Krishna, please, I'm still confused. Tell me what to do. How can I make it better? Why should I fight? Now, Krishna says, come on, I've already told you 3 chapters. 4 chapters I've already told you. Now I'm on the 5th chapter. Still you are confused, Arjuna? Happens, no? How many times you ask a teacher the same thing? Please, teacher, I'm confused. Tell me what to do. You know, Arjuna is doing that again and again. But again, you'll have to look at it the other way also. Arjuna is doing all this because, are you convinced that Arjuna should fight? Just because someone says, go on, you go and fight. Now that is where Arjuna is putting all these questions on our behalf. Okay. Now this happens every day in our day-to-day life. When we have something to do, okay, and we'll have to go go and do something. See, imagine you and your friend have a problem, and you have to save your friend. Okay, you need to go and lie. Okay, imagine you just say like you have done. You just have to say just to help your friend. You need to go and lie. In that situation, does it not happen that you, instead of one lie, you go and do multiple lies? How many of you had this experience? You go to save someone, instead of saying going and telling them one truth, you go and tell multiple lies. Happens, right? Now, Krishna is telling you, your mind says go do a lie, it is your friend, you have to save him. Okay. But whereas it is your heart which says, simple, go tell the truth. It is one time you'll have this problem. You might lose his friendship for some time, but then you can always earn that back because you said the truth. Your heart tells you that, right? Now, what happens in your mind? You have this Kurukshetra happening. The heart tries to again and again tell you, go tell the truth. But your mind again tells you, no, it is your friend. You lose your friendship. The friendship is very important. You need to maintain this relationship. Otherwise, you'll have this problem, you'll have that problems. All this happens, right? Finally, what you listen to, either you listen to your mind or you listen to your heart. That wins. So that is what is the confusion here. Arjuna is still trying to get convinced. His mind is still trying to fight him out. Okay. In the end of this, end of today, I'll just play a small video on mind control. Okay. So now, give me a moment. Now Arjuna says, oh Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work, and then you again recommended work. Okay, sorry, yeah. He says, Arjuna, first, Arjuna said, oh Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work. Then again you recommended work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitively which of the two are more beneficial? He says like, okay, Krishna, all said and done, 4 chapters, I'm happy. Now tell me whether I'll have to work or work with devotion. Should I give up work or work with devotion? You say I'll have to give up work. You should not look at the fools. Just give up your renounce your work. Then he say, then you say now you work with devotion. What is this, Krishna? It's confusing. Do you also have this confusion? What is this? Probably always confusing. He wants us to work. He doesn't want us to work. What is this trying to say? You also have this question, right? Yes. Now you saw the sadhu, right? We already saw he had a cigar, he had a phone on his mobile, so he is already attached to this material world. We are only saying, don't be attached to the material world. Don't be attached to the results. All that we are saying is, put all the positives and the negatives on the Lord and say, you're all doing it as a service to Him. It's all yours. Now, does it make a little difference? We'll go to it for in detail further. Now, Arjuna is asking, now you're saying, should I stop sowing the tree or should I stop expecting the fruits of it? What is it that we need to do? What is it that Krishna said? He never said you stop sowing the tree, stop sowing the seed to grow the tree. He only says you sow the tree, and whether you get the fruits or not, you don't be bothered about it. Just go sow the tree, do your duty, do your work. Okay? Do your work and you would continue on doing it. You will not have to look at the results. You've seen these rubber plantations which happened, right? People at 45, 50, 55, 60 go and do rubber plantations, and rubber grows after 20, 25 years. Is it that they are doing it for results or the fruits in their life? How many of you think that? There are huge tea plantations which happen. Okay, they are all the tea plant takes almost 8 to 9 years for it to give the results. Okay, and they give results for 25 years. You'll see people at 75, 80 doing this tea plantations now. Do you think they are doing it for their life? Doing it for themselves? Doing it for are they expecting fruits in their life? No, right? They're all expecting fruits in for the future, or they're not expecting the fruit. They say, like, I have planted, I have done my work. If the fruit comes, my generations take it. If the fruit doesn't come, still my generations take it. So I'm just sowing the tree, sowing the seed. Right? So that is how we should be. We should not be expecting the fruit for everything. So when you give a donation, do you expect results out of it? If you give a donation and if you are expecting something in return, it is not called a donation, it is called a transaction. Right? It's a profit and loss statement that you're looking at. It is not a donation that you give. Donation is something you give and you forget. You expect no results out of it. When you give a fruit to a child, when you give give a toy to the child, are you expecting something in back? You can't, even if you expect, the child is not going to give you. What it is going to tell you? When you give a beautiful toy to a small child, what the child does? He takes the toy, he looks at it, he enjoys for 15 minutes. Okay, he'll be with you for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. Okay, he'll say, Mama, Mama, Uncle, Uncle, Auntie, and he'll be with you. The child will be with you. Okay, for 5, 10, 15 minutes, they'll enjoy the time with you. And after that, a toy is thrown in one corner, the child is in another corner playing with its old toys. Happens or not? That's how the world is. You don't expect the fruits. Okay, but it is not that doesn't mean that you don't give the toy itself to the child. You still give the toy. Okay, but you don't expect the child to react to the way you want to. Okay? Nishkama karma means do everything without expecting anything in return. Now you understand? So doing the work, staying attached to the work, but in a detached way. Staying attached to the work, detached from its results. Okay, even it's a positive one, negative one, get yourself detached from that. Do your best to the work and leave the rest to the Lord. You heard this, right? Even the Bible says this. Do your best and leave the rest to the Lord. So that is how it is. That is what is told everywhere in the Bhagavad Gita. Do your result, do your work, do your karma, and everything else is to the Lord. Nishkama karma will liberate you. If that is the situation, is that not fine? That's how the whole education system is also trying to be changed these days, right? They say no exams, no one will fail till 8th standard, 9th standard, or 7th standard or 8th standard, right? What is that? Do your exams and the results you don't worry about. You're not going to fail. So that is nishkama karma, and this will take your stress out of examinations, take your stress out of, will liberate you from those pressures. Today also many institutions have grading system rather than marks. So what is more stressful? 97.5, 97.6, 97.7, or all of you are in A plus grade, all of you are in A grade, all of you are in B grade. Which is less stressful? The grading is less stressful, right? Yes. So that is where it will liberate you. At least they cannot say that everybody all passes, everybody passes, then you are all in the same level. At least that differentiation they are not able to bring in today. They're not able, the education system is not is able to give the liberation to that extent. But they are at least able to give you, they have made the liberation to some extent that they're grouping in grades. So that way they're trying to liberate. And this is the way it was earlier. They never said that Arjuna scored 95%, 99%, Bhima scored 96%, Nakula Sahadeva scored 91%. No one said that. They said everybody scored really well. And they had their own strengths. Arjuna was strong with his bow and arrow. Bhima was strong with his gadha, right? And Nakula and Sahadeva, they were strong and very, very sharp in their memories. One was very strong in astrology. So these are things. They said like, this is their talent. So this is where they are scoring really excellent. And you have to depend on them for that. Arjuna could not do astrology, but Nakula could do astrology. Right? So that is where it is. And Dharma was the guy who used to establish Dharma. Everything he did only the right thing. So that is where it is the differences. Right? So that is where he can score his best marks. So that is where we are looking at. Do your karma to the best, and forget about the results. That will liberate you. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and devotion, both are good for liberation. But of the two, work with devotion service is better than renunciation of work. What is renunciation of work? When you are in stressed conditions, you just quit. You've seen this happening? What happens when you're playing cricket, okay, and there's a bouncer coming? You see, no, this bouncer is coming, I just close my eyes. What happens? It still comes and hits you on the face with your helmet. Happens, right? When you say, no, I'm not going to look into it. I'm not going to look into this problem. The problem still comes. What happens? Now, just because you're looking at it, it doesn't mean that there's no problem. You're just quitting from the problem. Happens to everybody, right? So when we quit from the problem, what happens is we get into trouble further. And quitting everybody, you put everybody into trouble. So imagine there is some poverty which is coming. Okay, suddenly you don't have salary for 1 or 2 months. Okay, and your family is dependent on you. Is it okay to leave your family and you say, no, I have no salary. Now what I'll do is I'll go to some ashram, I'll go to some place in Himalaya or somewhere, I'll do meditation, I'll take food for myself, I'll do something, and then I'll live only for myself. Is that the right way to look at it? That is renunciation, right? Is that right to do it? No, that's right. It's not fair to do that. Rather, what you do, okay, we don't have money for this month. Okay, what do you see? Even the people so poor, they say like I have seen many of my friends doing this. They lost their job because of COVID. They were working with reasonably good companies, reasonably good organizations. They lost their job because COVID had taken toll in their organizations. They had to do some manpower cutting. And today, many of them still run their family. Okay, how do they run it? They go to the Swiggy deliveries, they go to Zomato deliveries, they go to all these Dunzo deliveries. They don't do that. You've seen this. You guys also should have seen people doing it, right? They're not giving up. They're not renouncing everything. They are still doing their work, leaving the results to the Lord. How do they do it? How do they do it? They're working still with devotion and they're still happy. Why they do it? Because they do it in devotion for their family. Now imagine you're not doing it for the devotion of the family, you do it for the Lord Himself. And the Lord is going to take care of your family, right? You take it in the right sense. When you go do it, you say, Lord, you take care of my family. I'll do whatever I can do for my family. And I'll give something to you also. Whatever I can do, I give it to you also. But then you take care of both me as well as my family. You don't even ask God to do it. He Himself will go and come and do it. That is the difference. That's where He says, do your work and leave the results to me. Don't renounce. There's no point in renouncing work. So of the two, work and devotional service is better than renunciation. So sowing the tree is your duty. But do it for me and I will take the fruit for you. That's what He says. What do we do? So if we say, it's me who earned this money. Okay, when you say money, we say it is we who earned the money, right? The non-devotee just earns the money. He says the money is all his because I earned it. So it's mine. So now there's a devotee who sees. He says he also earns money. He says it's all Krishna's mercy. You give the results to Lord. You lose money. You don't say I lost it, right? You say always someone stole it. Someone took it away from you. How many of you do that? We never accept like we have done something wrong. You always say someone else has taken it. Now the devotee says it's all Krishna's mercy. I earn it, it's all Krishna's mercy. I lost it, it's again Krishna is just testing me. He's just testing my tolerance limits. Hates or desires, the fruits of his activities, is known to be always, is to be always renounced. Such a person free from all dualities easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna. Okay, he says, a person who is not looking at the results, not looking at the fruits, is free from all dualities. What are the dualities? He is free from happiness as well as sorrow. Okay, he easily overcomes the material bondage. So he is no more attached to the material. So if we don't expect the results, then what motivates us to do it in the first place? Nice question. So see, you are not looking at the results for yourself. You say, I'll do more to make the God happy. I'll do better to make the God happy. I'll do better to make the Lord happy. So today, look at this way, okay? So if you have the God's murti at home. Today you give it a beautiful dress, okay? Tomorrow, if you have to give a beautiful dress along with a garland, okay, or initially you give a garland and next day you go for a better dress and a garland. Now to get this dress better, you need to again go and do your efforts to purchase this dress. You need to be motivated to do it. Once you are motivated to do it, you need to go to a place where you need to move from one place to another. You need to have the motivation to go and search for it. You need to motivate and spend time for it. You need the motivation to earn more for it, right? All this is like you deserve give all your results to the Lord. This month I gave probably 100 rupees to the Lord's services. Maybe I'll try to give 110 rupees next month. Maybe I'll just increase it a little. Can I do that? So what do I need to do that? So what I need to maybe do my work better. I need to earn better. Does that not give you a motivation? Just say, Lord, I need to serve you better. So you help me get a better pay or a better work. Rather than we go tell God, God, my balances are not so great. So what I want is I want you to pay me more. So you give me a better work. God says, like, boss, for you, this is enough. You live there. That is your limits. You stay in your limits. Rather, if you say, Lord, I'm happy, but I want you to be more happy. Happens even in your college, right? When you want to please, in your offices, when you want to please your boss, they say, boss, I know that you are really nice, but if I do better work, you will get better paid. So now, because you want to get better paid, you give me better work. Is that not a better deal to negotiate rather than saying, I want more money, so you give me more money? So if you're just putting it the other way, so that's why we say we don't look at the results. We always do the services to the Lord, and Lord will take care of us. That's how it is. You've seen, like, say, even the biggest of the biggest, I want to say, even if people are so pious that they get into so much of criminal cases in the world, they still go to the Lord, right? They are probably one of the best devotees that we could see. And many people who are so good devotees, they do so much of puja part, and they give gold and jewelry and do so much of dan karma in the temples and things. Maybe they all say, like, God, I want more to give you more. Today I gave you 100,000. I'll give you 200,000 next time. I'll give 500,000 next time. So whatever I earn, I keep giving it to you. Happens, right? We see there are so much of bundles and bundles of cash that get dropped into Tirupati temple. Sometimes we see on the news, someone gave a diamond mukut for the Lord there. What are they doing? They're just motivating themselves to give something more and more there, right? And we always think, why God is every time giving only to this person? Why always to the rich? Why not to us? Because they're not looking at the results. Have you seen ever any businessman, when he does an investment, says, okay, I do an investment today, what will give you tomorrow? What will it be day after tomorrow? You've seen big organizations spend so much of money on research and development, right? Are they looking at results immediately? No, right? They're all looking at the very long-term picture, right? How many of you have seen that? How many of you have that experience? You are all looking at very, very long-term picture, right? That's how important. That's how it is there. That's where it makes the difference. They're not looking at results for today. Okay? When we do all the results for today, what is it called? It's called monkey vairagya. In ISKCON, we call it monkey vairagya. What does this monkey do? Can you see a better renounced creature than a monkey? He's got nothing here. He's got wearing no dress. You give it any beautification product, it is not going to take. You give it any dress, it is not going to take. You give it any costly gadget, it is not going to use it for more than 1 or 2 minutes. All that it is going to look at is, you give it a beautiful mobile phone. You're looking at the mobile phone. It's a mobile phone. It sees, it tries to bite. It doesn't. It's not able to eat. It throws it away. Happens, no? What is it that it is always trying to eat? Monkey vairagya is like irrespective. It would have just had enough and more food for itself, but it wants to go and take. Once you give some more bananas, it will come and take it. It will go take it, save it. It will go take it, munch it, and it keep it in its mouth. All that happens. You've seen this, right? That is monkey vairagya. Whether you want it or don't want it, you just go and take it. So that is why I say you renounce work. When you say it is enough, learn to say it is enough. Okay, that is where it is important. That is what is very important. We stop where we are enough. Okay. So merely renouncing all activities, yet not engaging in the devotional services of Lord, cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. So we see that, right? People renounce and they are not still engaged in devotional services. They say, I'm not doing anything. I'm still not doing anything. At least serve the Lord, do some devotional service. No. I've renounced everything. I'll beg, I'll take it from the people, and whatever comes, I'll stay with it. I'm not looking at anything else. What do you call them? You call them beggars, right? For their living, they are always dependent on someone else. And they say, we are a renounced soul. You're not a renounced soul, they're beggars, right? You don't call them renounced souls, you call them beggars. But someone is serving the Lord, who's in the temple day in and day out, serving the Lord Himself. Okay? And when you see them serving at the temple, even without you knowing, you pull out the cash, you pull out some money and give it to them. Or when you're getting some prasad, you give it to them, right? What do you feel is a better option? You pay a coin or you pay a note to the people sitting outside the temple and asking for money, or will you feel it better to give it to a person who's actually sweeping the temple floors? Whom do you think you can pay it better? In the second, right? He is at least doing some work. He is doing service to the Lord. Other one is saying, like, he just comes on the traffic signals. He said, if you see people today knocking the door and say, "Bhaiya, please give me 10 rupees. Give me 5 rupees." They have actually started demanding these days. So that is something that is not okay. Okay. So there are 9 types of services that you can do. Okay, one, you can do prayers, you can do teaching. Okay, all that. These are things that you can differently you can do. Okay, one who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. You see this happening in temples, you see it happening in many places, right? He works with so much of devotion. Even when you go to your college and you see teachers, there are some specific teachers who enjoy teaching. Okay, you go to them, anytime you go to them, you ask them doubts, a million times they'll say, "Don't worry, I'll explain you." And they'll explain you with different examples every time. How many of you had this experience? You have this, right? You have these beautiful teachers. And what do? When they tell you something like that, what do? You respond to them. You also respond to them with a very high gratitude. You have a very high respect to those teachers. Right? You don't have the same respect to every teacher. You have these special teachers in life. You have so much respect for them. Because irrespective of whatever problems you have, you can go talk to them. Have you ever opened something like you have some personal problems, you still go and talk to those teachers? He would actually be teaching something on computer science. He'll be actually teaching something on strength of materials, on mechanical engineering. Okay, but then you go to him and then say, "Sir, I have this personal problem. Can you help me?" And they'll give you solutions even there. Because that's the way they work with so much of devotion. Are they expecting you to come back to you? They say, like, how many of you have thought, like, you have beautiful teachers in your schools, okay? How many of you even met them after you got a job or something? Maybe 10 years, 15 years after you completed your schools. Do you still go and meet them? You'll still remember your teachers in LKG, UKG, first standard, second standard, right? But when you go and meet them, do you think they will be able to recognize you? No, right? Some of us definitely we go and meet. Okay, well, so Ishna Mataji, you said you met your teacher. Were they able to recognize you after probably 5-10 years? You said, "Ma'am, I was of the 2010 batch, 2012 batch of first standard, second standard that you taught, and I was in your class." He said, yes, I remember you." Maybe they just remember you by your face. Okay, they don't remember your name. Unless otherwise you are so mischievous or so talented on the other side. You did something so strange. Otherwise, they are not remembering it because they're seeing teachers every day, students every day. They're having new batch coming every year. And they don't teach in one class, they teach in 5 or 6 classes every year. So there's a whole group which is going to change. And imagine if you had a beautiful teacher in your second and third standard, and after that you moved out of that school to some other school, and the teacher still stays there, or the teacher moved from that school to some other school. With all that combinations, they're not even going to remember you. That is what it says. One who works with devotion, who's a pure soul, who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. He takes care of everybody in the same way. Okay? Although he is always working, that man is never entangled. He's never attached to any of those results. There are so many CEOs, so many civil services officers, so many highly paid officers that these teachers have created. Are they expecting you to pay them back anything? Nothing, right? And instead we go curse them, curse the school that the school was only charging us fees. We don't see, they gave us so beautiful teachers. Right? So that's the difference. So the best way to do and best way to chant, again we keep saying it, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. We keep doing it. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results to the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action, as a lotus leaf is untouched by water. Okay. Now again, when we say this, okay, I'll probably come to that later. Yogis abandoning attachment act with body, mind, intelligence, and even the senses, only for the purpose of purification. So we've seen this. There are a lot of yogis who are abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, and intelligence, and even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification. They're only using the senses for purification. Okay, they are not looking at senses for their own happiness. They're always looking at all these senses for the purification. You put everything to their Lord. So how would you put purification? How do you use the senses for purification? When you chant, what are you doing? You're chanting a little louder. So what you do is, what are the five senses? Hear, touch, feel. What are the senses? Can you please tell me? What are the five senses? Smell. You offer a very good fragrance to the Lord, so that put garlands give a very good smell, garlands with smell. That's why when we normally take for puja, we don't use the garlands which don't smell, which don't give a good fragrance. We always want to offer the Lord the flowers which give a good fragrance, because that fragrance will activate your smell, the sense of smelling it. Then you taste. How do you offer taste for purification? You offer prasadam. You offer naivedyam to the God and take it as prasadam. Okay? You beautify the God. Lord, you give very good, you do good decoration, you do very good alankara. What do you do that way? You please your eyes, right? You see beautiful things. You see it so much in detail. That's the third sense that you. Then you talk. Okay, you talk good about the Lord. What happens is when you talk, you get the better sense. You talk about the Lord. You spread the message of Lord. That's again you use it for purification. You hear. What do you hear? You hear from satsanga. You hear from the company of good people. So you hear about the Lord, you hear about good things. What happens? That also purifies your mind. Okay. Does it make sense? All the five senses, can you put this to use easily when you want to give it for the Lord? Right, no? Can we practice this? Is it so tough to practice, or it's okay? It's easy. Can we have something? Yeah, it's easy, right? That's right. It's easy to practice this. Put your senses for the purification, rather than, no, I'm going to have spicy food today. I want to order Domino's, McD, so I'll go order that. That is not something you are purifying. You are giving up to Maya. You are getting into the world of Maya. You're pleasing yourself. Okay, Maya will always come and tell you, come, we'll take beautiful burger, we'll have a pizza, they'll have so much of spices into it, we'll add double spice, double cheese. All this happens, right? This is all giving up to Maya. Okay, now get out of that. Do you really need that burger? No. Okay, I don't say no burger, nothing you need to have. Okay, once in a while when you're going traveling, you don't find good restaurants around, you want to be safe. Okay, it's okay to go and have a burger. Okay, when in India we have burger as snacks, right? In other countries, in the Western countries, burger is their meal. For us it is snack. How many of you agree to that? All that we see, KFC, McDonald's, these are all snack centers. They are not meal centers for us. So what we do is 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening, we go have this beautiful restaurants where we go have our snack. Okay, then in the night we come home and have our full meal dinner. Okay, 6 months down the line, what do we have? We have a big tummy. We just get into obesity. Why do we do that? We gave up to Maya. Now rather you say, if I need that, I'll take it. Otherwise, I'm not taking it. So Maya is always going to trouble you, but it is going to give you momentary happiness. Rather, if you go and fast, what we normally recommend is that on the day of Ekadashi is something that comes every 15 days. Okay, close to every 15 days it comes. There's a day called Ekadashi. How many of you know this day called Ekadashi? It is a very auspicious day for Lord Krishna. So you have some of your family members also who do a fasting on Ekadashi. What we recommend is during the day of Ekadashi, okay, fasting for this generation of people like us is something that is strange. You say, why do you people fast? Okay, what we rather recommend is, we don't say you don't go on a Nirjala fasting. Fast only on fruits. Imagine one day we'll have no cooking. Okay, call it fireless day, no? Just don't cook anything. Have everything raw. Avoid all the grains. Have only fruits and vegetables if you want. Okay, have water, have milk. This will change your metabolism. Once in 15 days, it will help you cleanse your body also. Okay, it will help you in better metabolism. Okay, do you think you people can try this fasting on Ekadashi? I would not say fasting. It is like fruit or the vegetable day, fireless day, fasting from grains on say some of the Ekadashis. Just try this, okay? It will be really interesting. So these are small things, that small changes that we can bring to our life, but will impact us in the long run. Nothing is going to come results. When you fast today in Ekadashi, imagine today's Ekadashi and you fast today, tomorrow you're not getting any results. Okay? There's nothing that is going to change for tomorrow. But when you do this continuously for 6 months, 8 months, that's when you see a change. How many of us thought that when the vaccination was starting, he said like, okay, this vaccination is first one is now, and then they say 12 weeks for the second vaccination. The whole of India is going to take 4-5 years to get this vaccination completed here. Come on. You all thought that, right? But then once that happened, and when the second or third wave actually came in back, we had so much of less infections. Today we say, we may not even go on lockdown the whole country because we have already vaccinated to some extent, to a very large extent. So that everything takes its own time. And we have to learn with time, we'll have to modify with time. We'll have to modify the processes with time. Ekadashi is being made simple. Just see if we can fast without fire, fast away from grains, okay? Just keep the grains away. Look at the fruits, vegetables, all is fine. Take water, milk is also fine. Just try to get away from the grains. A steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with divine, who is greedy for the fruits, of his labor becomes entangled. What happens? You understand this, right? When someone is not worried about the results at all, okay, and gives or leaves all the activities to the Lord and all the results also to the Lord, he doesn't care about it at all. Okay. When you're confident that you've done something, you don't look at the results, right? But when you're looking about the results, see, like imagine you give your exams and you know you're going to pass, and you're all that you're expecting is I just have to pass. You're less worried. You're not at all worried. Not just less worried. You're not at all worried about it. Worried about the results. All that you see, what happens is when you're looking at this board exams or something which happens, or some exams like language, which is only something that you normally know and you can write it on the flow. You're not worried about the results of that language subject. You scored 70, you scored 90, it doesn't matter to you. But something like mathematics or science, you are so worried that you want, because you're not worried because you are going to score less. You're always worried because someone else is going to score better. You want to get into such and such college, and that college has a cutoff mark. Or you want to do something so better because otherwise you don't get paid better for that. Your colleague would take up that the position. When that happens, that's when you're worried. So if you're not worried about the results, then you never become entangled to it. You're free from those adulterated peace. You are unadulterated by the results, and so you're peaceful, right? Imagine every subject was his language subject. You're not worried about language at all, unless otherwise you are studying about English literature or Hindi literature about the language itself. Right? It will be very easy for us and we're not worried about the results, right? So that's what Krishna says. Do your best, leave the results to me, and be peaceful. Okay. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces his all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. Okay. But then won't it affect the quality of food? So again, when you have to work, like if there are no tests, you won't learn properly, right? No, see, test, when you consider them as something that they want to test you, okay, and see, test is not, what is the purpose of test? Is it to give you better marks or is it to test whether you know the things right? It is more to see that whether you know the things the right way. That is where the test is. It is not going to give you marks. Now, rather than going and doing the test to explain what you know, you go and start scoring marks. You start doing the other ways to do marks, right? You start doing the other ways like cheating, you try to do mugging up. Is that the right way to get you marks? You do it in the right sense. When you read it properly, okay, when you understand it properly, you go give your best in the examinations. You're not worried about the results. Happens or not? When you know you're doing the right things, you're not worried about the results. But when you are not confident, you have mugged it up, you just memorized it, and then you're just going to write whatever was in your mind without understanding it, you are still not confident whether you delivered the right thing. So that is where you are worried. So that's what God says. Enjoy your work. Enjoy what you're doing. But don't worry about the results. When you enjoy and do, you learn it better. You love to give examinations. You love to explain what you've understood. But you're not looking at the results. Don't look at it that way. Okay. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned, a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. This is something that I wanted to check. How many of you think Brahmana is a caste and is a person who comes from, who's got that position by his birth? How many of you given to that idea? How many of you think it that way? I was born in a Brahmana family. or this person was born in the Brahmana family, so he is noble. How many of you think it that way? That's what's seen around us. Yes, that's how people have been believing. Okay, it is not right. It is not the right thing. How many of you say it is not right? Anybody can become a Brahmana. How many of you think that way? Anybody can become a Brahmana. What are the qualities of Brahmana? Okay, is the qualities of Brahmana is a learned sage who sees everybody equally, okay, who gives knowledge to everybody. What is the role of Brahmana in the system? He is a person who is knowledgeable, who is going to serve everybody, looking at everybody in an equal way. And he is not going to differentiate between people. Okay? And he is going to be in a steady state of mind. He is not looking at results. He is not very happy. He is not very sad for anything. He is looking at everything at the same level. He is not looking for money. Primarily, he is not looking for money on everything. Today, we see people call up Panditji for puja at home. What does he say? First thing he says, he will not say, I'm doing all this puja. He says, what do you want to do? Then I have my son's birthday coming up. Okay, so you want your son's birthday? 25,000 rupees. A learned Brahmana doesn't do it that way. He says, what is it that you want? It's my son's birthday. Okay, it's your son's birthday. This is what we should do. This is what we can do. And I'll come and do it for you. What is it that I need to pay for it? He says, no, pay whatever you can. I'm not looking at you for paying it. I'm just coming and doing it for you. It's my duty to do it. Now, who's the Brahmana in this? The person who's saying, like, when you say it's your son's birthday or it's your child's birthday, it's your kid's birthday and family, or you have family function, he says, this is the money that you pay. Or the second person who says, no, I'll come and do it as my duty. This is my duty to do it. You give me whatever you're happy with. If you don't give me, I'm still happy with it. I'm not worried about it. Who's the Brahmana in this? The first one or the second one? Second one, right? So that's the Brahmana. Now, who's the first guy who says, like, for everything money? He's not the guy. He's the guy who's going to see. God created 4 categories of people: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudras. Right? He said it is not for caste that he created. He clearly says in Bhagavad Gita, I created these 4 kind of people. Okay, kind of people based on their roles and responsibilities in the world. So Brahmana is a guy who's helping everybody, who is very knowledgeable. Okay, but he can't go and fight. He can't go do business. His role is not to do business. Okay, he is knowledgeable because he is knowledgeable. He can share his knowledge. He can share his knowledge on Shastra. He can share his knowledge on weapons also. Earlier days, Gurukul, it was also taught in Gurukul by Brahmanas how to fight. Right? But they never went on to the war and fought. They only told how to get fight. But who was fighting it? It was fought by Kshatriya. Right? Because they have the attitude, and they were eating meat. Why did they eat meat then? Because they had to keep their emotions at that level. Okay, they ate meat. Brahmana was not allowed to eat meat. Why he was not allowed? Because he has to stay in a state of stability. He had to not react to anything in a wrong way, in an exaggerated way. He doesn't have to be very happy. He doesn't have to be very sad. But a Kshatriya is not like that. Kshatriya had to react in a higher sense. He had to have his emotions. He had to motivate his army. So that's why he was allowed to eat meat. He was allowed to do many multiple things. Then there was a business guy. This is Vaishyas. They want to do business. They need to earn money so that the Kshatriyas could run the government. They could get taxes and they could run. They could earn money they could get the money from the Vaishyas so that they can build the army. Because they can protect the businesses from attacks, right? So that's the Vaishyas who are doing the business. And who are the Shudras? The Shudras are the people, the working class. The working class is called the Shudras. Today, what all of us are doing? We're all doing Shudras role, right? We're all trying work somewhere. Okay, now, every day you can see that you are in different roles in this. When you go to work, when you go to work to earn money, okay, at some point in time you are a Vaishya. When you're protecting your family from some other from ill effects, okay, what happens? You become a Kshatriya. When you're giving knowledge to your family, your friends, you become a Brahmana. When you're working hard to help others, you help yourself, you become a Shudra. These are all categories or the stages at which the person is going to be in day-to-day life. It's not a caste. How many of you agree to these points? Get this right. This is all something that we are going to agree. And we are all going through this every day. That's how the categories, and these are not to be considered as castes. Okay? Nice. So, Pandita Samadarshini. He is the Paramatma, present in each and every body. He sees Paramatma present in each and every body. Who's Paramatma? The God himself. And we see God is present in everybody. And the Brahmana is one who sees God in everybody's body. He sees Paramatma present in each and every body. That means that classification doesn't have permanence, right? With respect to this. Yes, doesn't have permanence. Today, a person who is a Brahmana can suddenly become a Shudra tomorrow because he's just looking at money. And a person who's working can actually get the knowledge, and he can start sharing his knowledge, and he can be in a steady state of mind. A Shudra can become a Brahmana. A Brahmana can become a Shudra. A person who was, we had Shivaji Maharaj, right? Shivaji Maharaj of the Maratha kingdom, who founded the Maratha kingdom. He was not a Vaishya by birth. Sorry, he was not a Kshatriya by birth. He saw people were suffering. He was something like a Robin Hood. He slowly emerged. He says, I will protect my people. He moved from actually helping and working with some smaller peasants. Okay, he was smaller Vaishyas. He became a protector of them. What did he become? He became from a Shudra, he became a Kshatriya. Right? There were people who were Shudras who became Brahmanas, and these are like say Vishwamitra. Okay, Vishwamitra was a king. Okay, he renounced everything. He was a Kshatriya, and he became a Brahmana. He says, no, I'm going to go into a steady state of mind. So that's how people can change anyway. Okay. It's not the caste. It is not your birth which gives you your caste, or it gives you your position in the four stages. Birth doesn't say you are a Brahmana. Birth doesn't say you are a Kshatriya. Birth doesn't say you are a Vaishya. Birth doesn't say you are a Shudra. It is your actions that determine what you are. Such a person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance. Enjoying the pleasure within. This is the way the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates only on the Supreme. He is not disturbed by any of the Maya. He is not disturbed by lust. He is not disturbed by the various things that happen in the world, various Maya, which always continues to disturb the mind. He's not focusing on any of it. He knows everything. All these are temporary. I'm just going to look at the big picture. I'm just going to look at the life, which is going to be beyond this. And this is the life where I can correct myself. Okay. So you look at the happiness that people are surrounding Prabhupada. They are happily laughing from their heart. When we say laugh, do we say you should laugh from your heart? You should laugh, or we say we laugh from your mind? We say laugh from your heart, right? Okay. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of mystery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so wise man does not is not delighted in them. Okay. You see that this alcohol, you see meat, you see other food stuff that are there. What do they give? They give temporary pleasure. Right? They give temporary pleasure. Rather, when you focus on Lord, focus on spirituality, you keep your mind stagnant for a long time. What happens? It gives you long-term peaceful peace. Alcohol gives people, they just forget for a period of time. Once the effect of alcohol comes, once the nasha comes to, what happens? People start feeling sorrow for everything. But if in spirituality, you get away from those results, stay in a steady state of mind, results are not going to affect you. Right? So which is better? Unless you can look at, it's for you to introspect yourself. Okay, you can see this bulb which attracts a lot of insects to it, right? So that's how Maya is. You see this elephant which is stuck in stuck in a pit. How do they catch wild elephants in the jungle? When an elephant in the forest becomes so, they start behaving or in the wrong way, or they just start becoming so arrogant. What do? They just try to catch it. How do they catch it? They make a big pit and they bring a she elephant, and with the she elephant around, the she elephant goes around the pit, and the male elephant, which is to be tamed, and the untamed male elephant, which is wild, just sees the she elephant and gets attracted. It's the lust that they bring into the male elephant. And the male elephant runs, and then just gets closer to the pit, it falls inside the pit. Then they catch it, right? You've seen this happening, right? What do they do? Why did the elephant get caught? It got caught because of its lust. So what you've seen this lotus have a lotus on the ponds, right? What happens with the honeybee? What does the lotus do? During the day, it blossoms. During the night, it closes itself. Okay, it blossoms and it closes during the night. So what happens is this honeybee goes and sits on the lotus late in the evening, and it wants to take out all the nectar there. When the sun sets, what happens? The lotus closes. Honeybee is still inside taking the nectar. What happens after that? The lotus is so strong that it closes and it prevents the honeybee from breathing. And the next day morning when it blossoms back, the honeybee is already dead. Okay. What happens that way? What happened to the honeybee? It was caught in the lust of the nectar. What happened to the elephant? It was caught in the lust of the she elephant. What happened to the bees that were looking around the light? It was caught in the lust of the light. And when it went and touched the bulb, it was so hot that the the insects that were going around the light, they just get killed. You see the insect killer that is kept everywhere at different places, right? Hotels and things. What happens? All these insects see that blue light. We'll go we have something to eat there. They go, hit, cut, that's all gone. The life is lost. What did we do? What did we humans do? We looked at the lust of the insects. We gave them the lust of the light, and we made them think that that is something to eat. They came there, we killed them. Who's smarter here? We are only looking at lust. We are giving lust to the insects. So what does lust do? It only puts us into trouble. Human beings, I don't want to give examples. Okay, human being examples are even nastier. So that's why we go give examples like this. You agree to this point? So lust only gives you trouble. Yeah. So we have a lust to get more and more, much better houses. It is my house. We have this lust. The devotee says it is Krishna's plan. He wants me to get a house. Okay. So knowing me to be me, and then Okay, knowing me to be me, the ultimate beneficiary of all the sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material mistakes. So what is not saying here? Just give up all your results, give up all your lust, and stay focused on me, and that's when you'll attain peace. So that's the right way to get peace, right? He says, who's supreme? Krishna is supreme. They say Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Who's going to enjoy all your results? It is Krishna who's going to enjoy. The peace formula. I told you, will tell you how to be peaceful, right? Or who's the enjoyer? You say Krishna is the enjoyer. Who's the controller? Krishna is controlling. Who's our only friend who's going to give us the right wishes? It is Krishna. Agree to it or not? So when you do it that way, then you're going to make it very easy. Right? All results, Krishna. All problems, Krishna. All happiness, Krishna. Whom to listen to? Krishna. Where is Krishna? In your heart. So what do? Listen to your heart. Right? When you are in trouble, what does your heart say? And don't worry, we'll come over it. It is something wrong that we did and we'll have to fix it. But that's what your heart says. What your mind says. No. See, someone is punishing you. It's not right to do it. Now start your revenge against that person. Now start investigating who did this. That is more important. What does your heart say? Leave it. Whoever has done it, you go fix it. Right? So that's the controller. Krishna doesn't say go take revenge. He says fix the problem and go ahead. He will tell you when to go and fight. But otherwise, he'll say, Krishna will tell you when you are having a trouble and your heart says, no, now you'll have to stand up and fight. Then your mind will tell you the other way. No, don't go and fight. Don't do that. People will get hurt. You'll lose friendship. There, Krishna, your heart says go and fight. So that is the supreme control. Listen to your heart. Okay. Okay. So that's what we are seeing in different images, different stories. And that's how it happens. So what is the formula? Supreme controller, supreme enjoyer, and only well-wishing friend. So do your duty. How to differentiate? I don't know what my heart says and how to listen to it. Okay. When you have a problem, okay, when you have when you say you want to fast on Ekadashi, okay, so you have two thoughts. You have two thoughts coming. One is that I'm telling you, and your heart gives to it. You said, yes, this is a nice thing. Okay, why should you not try it? You should better do it. That is your heart telling you, right? What does your mind tell you? You see, this guy is taking you to spirituality. He is asking you to do fasting. Okay, this guy is doing all this. So who fasts in this world? He's saying, don't eat burger. Come on here. Burger is our national food these days. Happens, no? So that is what we want to differentiate. Now you know who's the heart, who's the mind. Now you know. Now you should know who to listen to. Okay, what is telling you the right things, what to do? That is what is your heart. Even if it is to go and fight, and if your heart says that is right. Okay. Imagine when you go to a police and police gives you a wrong case. Okay. What does your mind say? Don't get into this trouble. Get out of this. Bribe him, do something, ask him what he wants, give him and then get away. But your heart doesn't say, you have not done anything wrong. Fight it. That's your heart. There your heart says, fight it. But we don't go, we probably give it to the mind, we just get out of the trouble. We renounce the problem there. We renounce from that situation. That is where you have to understand what is the heart and what is the mind. Mind is always giving you easy solutions, okay? Heart is giving you the right solutions. Mind always tells you it's okay to tell you lies. The heart says, go take that trouble to give the right thing, do the right thing, tell the truth. Truth is bitter, but then do it. Okay. So now here is the devotees, Krishna, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda was so happy and peaceful. So that's how we say Hare Krishna, Hare